Apple is working on a foldable iPhone that could be released as early as 2026, according to an exclusive report published by The Information. Now, I've been using the new Samsung Galaxy Z Flip and the Z Fold for the last 2 weeks now, and I personally, if I had to choose which foldable iPhone I would like to see first, I think it would be the Fold style, where you can open it up into a larger display. But I could totally get on board with the Flip. Now, it looks like I'm actually going to have to, because according to this report, the device would feature the clamshell design that you see here that's similar to Samsung's line of Galaxy Z Flip smartphones. Apple is said to have already been contacting suppliers in Asia in the recent months about making components for this device. Now, this has been something that's actually been reported for a long time now. I feel like pretty much once Samsung started coming out with foldables and other manufacturers jumped in, I feel like we've heard about Apple potentially doing it, but it looks like Apple is finally starting to move forward with things. In fact, the device allegedly has been given a code name of V68 inside Apple, suggesting that work is actually ramping up. Now, if you're wondering why Apple has yet to do a foldable phone like this, it's because one big struggle has been this right here, the crease on either the Fold or the Flip. Apple doesn't like it and wants it to be eliminated. So there's kind of one of two things happening here in my opinion. Either Apple figured out how to eliminate the crease or got close to elimination and figured that it's probably fine considering that Samsung has had, a crease for a long time and people have been okay with it. For me personally, I don't really mind it. You get over it really quickly. I know for a fact that a lot of people will comment and say that I'm probably crazy and that they can totally see it and that it's awful, but I'm telling you, as someone who has used these devices over the last however many years they've been around, 6 or so years, it's really not that big of a deal after you get used to it. And that time frame to get adjusted is only a couple of hours in my opinion. Not even probably that long. It really does go away, and I'm not even touching the middle of the screen so much to where I would feel it, and when you have the screen on you really can't see it. So in my mind, I don't even know why it's still such a big talking point. Okay, so what are the benefits of a folding phone, you might ask? Well, with this specific form factor here in the Flip, I have a pretty large screened phone that I can now close down to a much smaller palm of my hand form factor, which, it's obviously super compact because it just folds right in half. So you have half the footprint of what you have, and that's a huge selling point. There are also other benefits, of course, like you have an outer display here for widgets, information, responding to messages quickly, and even using it as a viewfinder when you're taking selfies. And when you do that, you're actually using the rear cameras because, well, now you can see yourself on the outer display, and you're going to be using your main cameras, and you'll have much better selfies. Samsung has also implemented a flex mode for various apps, and it would be interesting to see what Apple ultimately decides to do differently with this phone, and I'm personally really excited. Now, I mentioned earlier I would like the Fold style because I could go from like a large iPhone to a baby iPad by unfolding and unleashing more possibilities, in my opinion, with that larger inner display, but it looks like Apple is going to be set on doing this form factor for right now. But in the future, maybe we'll get a Flip and a Fold style iPhone, which would be really cool. Now, I also know that people still have durability concerns and think that these foldables are still just as fragile as ever. And I'm happy to report that that's just not the case anymore. These phones have matured quite a bit over the years and are no longer suffering from the many display issues or hinge issues as in years past. It's definitely more fragile than your normal iPhone, but it's not going to crumble from like a piece of sand or dirt anymore like it did in the early days. And there's also good warranties, especially with Samsung. Samsung will replace the screen if something's wrong with it one time for free, and then you can do it a couple more times if you need to. You'll probably have to pay for it. Apple will probably offer Apple Care. That would be a good time to buy that if you've never done it in the past. But of course, I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. What do you think? Do you think you would pick one up? Would you like a foldable iPhone? Would you like the, fold or flip style iPhone? Let me know down in those comments. This has been Dan with MacRumors. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you around in the next video.